Sunny's full of it.
Yes.
Sunny's full of it. First of all, there is no equivalency. When you take hostages, that's not taking prisoners of war because there was no war for the prisoners to be taken, number one.
We are moving on to our counterview segment where we talk about or respond to The View.
It's hard.
You're cute and submissive.
It's hard. I am a man repellent. It's hard. Because all I do is go to gay events and drag shows and
Anything to make a buck, save a buck. Anything to make a buck.
it's hard.
So this here is Sunny Hostin, and she is talking about one of the hostages that was recently released this week.
And I think what's really important is what happens after this pause, because a ceasefire apparently is a bad word now. So what happens after this humanitarian pause? Who is in charge? Who isn't in charge? Are we going to continue seeing this devastation in Gaza? Are we going to continue seeing these 3 Palestinian kids going, college kids, one who knows my son's friend, okay? When is that going to stop? When are we going to really meet at the table and understand that all lives in this situation are being affected, and we must have a 2-state solution?
But can I say one thing?
Just to give you guys some background, she is, they had on at that same episode, they had on the family members of one of the hostages that were brought home this week. 9-year-old Emily Hand survived nearly 2 months in Hamas's grip by running house to house with her captors to escape bombings. She was one of the hostages that was freed this week, and her relatives were on the show just talking about her time in captivity. And so, as you guys can see, Sunny Hostin is basically trying to provide some equivalence between the hostages that were taken on October 7th with the Palestinian prisoners that were released and have been held by Israel. I want to start with you, Shelley. What are your thoughts on that, on her commentary on that?
Sunny's full of it.
Yes.
Sonny's full of it. First of all, there is no equivalency. When you take hostages, that's not taking prisoners of war because there was no war for the prisoners to be taken, number one. The children who were ripped literally from their mothers, their homes in the whatever time period, taken and buried in tunnels, having to dodge bullets and bombs because their captors slaughtered their community, their family members. There's no equivalency. So Sunny, again, she's talking about with her fake accent in Gaza. Gaza. She's so. There's no equivalency. Is any child in any war situation being slaughtered or I would say killed, whatever? Of course, it's horrific. But when your captors are the ones who initiated the slaughter, how in the hell can you even say that there's equivalency? The same captors of this little girl and the other people who have been released are the same ones who took them and who slaughtered their families, and they're still hiding them out. They're the same ones who use these people for shields. What is she talking about? They are phony. Sunny Hostin and those women on The View, I think Anna was challenging her a little bit, but Sunny Hostin is full of crap. She's full of it. She's so phony. She's so wanting to be, my neutral zone and everyone is okay and everyone is the same. No, they're not. Terrorists are not the same as human beings. I don't even classify them as humans. They're not. And what they did to those innocent Israelis is beyond description. Okay? Sunny, you are full of it.
Yeah, I want.
Wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Yeah, so I want to get your thoughts on this, T. Again, as you guys saw, Sunny says, we're talking about this 9-year-old that was just brought out of captivity. And then she starts off with all lives matter, talking about the Palestinian prisoners. What are your thoughts?
I mean, y'all know, I've said this before. Personally, when it comes to journalism, I want to see all sides. Mm-hmm. Yes, thanks for the tree in the background, producer. I want to hear and see all sides because I want to get the full story so that I can interpret or translate what I think happens or goes on. So in this case, I actually agree with her because I want to see the perspectives of everyone. Not just they tell us who they want, the perspective of who they want us to be.
What perspective
From the Palestinians and the Israelites.
So what do you agree with her about, though? That's what I don't understand.
Seeing the full perspective of both perspectives of the hostages, and y'all are calling them terrorists, but not all of them are terrorists. Just that.
What is your definition of a terrorist? I'm talking about the group Hamas.
Let God
Hamas,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But they're still the Palestinians that aren't the terrorists.
I'm talking about the Hamas people. Not even people, I should say, but Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS, Al Jazeera, Al Qaeda. Those are all terrorist groups.
understand that.
So what part is it that you need more clarity on?
What happened with the Palestinians? What is happening with the Palestinians? The fact that they're still in the conditions that they are in, and okay, yeah, we have hostages from Israel, but still, like, give me the full story.
I don't
just give me
understand what you're talking about.
Why do we continuously make it Israel's responsibility as to what happens with the Gazans? We provided food for you. We provided water for you. Now we're not. You attacked us, so now we're not. Like, and
it's
that's
not the first time.
Yeah, exactly. And I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, but what about the Palestinians? And what about?" Let God sort out the ones who are not terrorists and the ones who are. And that's just how I feel. I don't believe with Sonny Hostin that there's a two-state solution at all. I'm not going to require...
Two-state solutions have been tried forever and a day.
And I'm not going to require Israel, in my own opinion, to live next to people who want to kill them. And I don't feel like they should have to keep taking care of them. I really think that we need to go ahead and just get rid of the Gaza Strip. I made that known. But you know what was funny? Speaking of Gaza Strip, watching that Sonny Hostin tiptoe through that landmine, because you know who writing her checks. You know them Jews is writing them checks. And so she could not say what she really wanted to say. So black folks, y'all not disappointed that Sister Soldier ain't out there fighting on the front line for you?
Right.
She chose her pocket. And that's what all them black liberals do.
Wait. First of all, let's go back.
She tiptoed.
We went through. I think we're making this too complicated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She literally said that she's comparing people who, like us, you're sitting in your home,
Right.
kids, babies, infants, children got kidnapped, got murdered, got slaughtered. She's comparing these hostages,
Right.
and she's saying that they have the same moral equivalence to Palestinian prisoners held by Israelis because they were terrorists, because they have done,
Tried to kill Israelis.
attempted murder,
yes.
things like that. I don't understand how you are trying. What is the equivalence there? She's saying, but what about them? How are they
humans?
I don't give a damn. Really? If somebody, let me read what this says.
Go ahead. She's gonna break out the scriptures on us.
No, I hear what Tia say, but T has remained consistent. She's said this from the front.
Let's see how consistent you are if something like this happened to you. If we would,
I'm gonna go
Israel is the same size as New Jersey. This is like having a situation where was New York City terrorists from New York City went to New Jersey early in the morning and just started killing people while they slept,
Right.
taking babies. Did you hear the same girl that they were talking about, Sonny's reckless comments, the same girl that was taken, the girl is going through so much trauma right now. She won't even speak hardly. She has to speak in very low tones because of the time she was with these nutbags in the Gaza.
Pieces of shit.
Not only that, they talk about another one. And just today, news came out that the 4-year-old brother, known as the Reds, it was a family. It was a 4-year-old brother killed along with the mom.
Yep.
These were the ones, according to the New York Post, the youngest Israeli hostage held by Hamas, 4-year-old brother and their mom, along with the patriarch, Yarden, were abducted from their home in the kibbutz, And on Tuesday, Israeli officials announced that Hamas had handed the family over to another Palestinian faction. So they're not even
releasing them.
Yeah, and I saw something that said the
American
hostages are not being released.
They released some, I think, a half Russian hostage. But they had, like you said, infants, literal infants, not even 1 year old, 2 year old children taken from their homes. There is no equivalence.
It's no equivalent. Did you see the faces of the Israeli prisoners that were released?
So
none of this was happening to them. No. And they were doing stuff wrong and they were in jail. They just released. They look healthy. They look strong. You see these hostages coming back from Gaza, old ladies on their deathbed. You got now they talking about they traded out this family
for the prisoners that are trying to
another faction.
Israel.
You got an infant. Well, how are you comparing this? How is it even equivalent?
Y'all have chosen a side, right? And my thing is, to go back to your example for the New York and New Jersey, then somebody comes in from New Jersey. It doesn't matter who it was. If somebody comes to my house and try to get my children, kill my children, I don't care if it was the Israelis, the terrorists, I don't care who it is. Somebody's getting their blood, their
So
heads
then
turned.
why?
So my thing is, I don't care. Like, I want the full picture.
What is the full picture?
That's what I'm saying. I don't need the full picture. What do you think?
I don't know what the full picture is.
No. It's not. It's not even about
missing?
the house. I think I'm thinking from a more like umbrella conversation or situation.
What, that all children are God's children. We all part of the rainbow.
You said, let God do it. Then let God handle the situation. Then.
Well,
he's not here right now to handle it.
No,
So.
I believe in choosing a side, and I'm always on the side of my allies, and unfortunately for Palestinians, Jews share my Judeo-Christian values,
right.
They are the only eyes in the Middle East that the U.S. has, and I'm an American. So I have chosen a side just based on that factor. Now, I understand what people like the idea of saying, oh, well, what about the other people that Israel had killed? But I don't like that, because if I kill you because you killed my child, and then you say, oh, well, that person you killed is a person. No, there is a certain thing called retaliation. And we have to be brave enough to say, I got exactly what I brought.
What's interesting is that this moral argument, this moral responsibility is placed on Israel, right? But it's interesting, they place these moral responsibilities on Israel, but yet they don't want to claim that Israel is a moral nation. So that's like, they play this trick. Well, if Israel is so moral, then they're not intentionally trying to kill you and wipe you off the face of the earth. You want to give them that responsibility to be moral, but yet you say that they're out to kill you. No, they're not. It doesn't work both ways. That's a little sleight of hand that the media does. Israel is a moral nation. Does that mean that Israel is perfect in their government?
Nobody's perfect.
That's not what we're saying. But they're not intentionally going into Gaza or the West Bank or any other country, stealing, slaughtering women, men, children. They're not doing that. You're not going to find tunnels with hostages of children and disemboweled women being raped in Israel. You're not going to find that. If you do, please let us know.
And
like T said, she can have the whole picture.
But they would have every right.
I would like to know.
What would Jesus do?
So what?
Why would Jesus do?
What would Jesus
put a millstone around their neck and drop them in the sea?
Jesus would do that?
Yes,
and
he
I
would.
think that that's the misconception, especially with a lot of y'all Christians. I'm getting ready to come for y'all.
We just talked about that.
When y'all clearly we haven't read the Torah, but in the Torah,
now you want to bring up the Torah as a Christian. As a Christian.
Oh, I will. God instructed them
right now.
when they went into battle to kill every person.
That's God. That's not
the
Jesus.
Camp. Okay, it don't matter.
Okay,
and he
Jesus
even called out.
He even
called out women, and he called out children. That is biblical. So if you are an enemy, unfortunately, I feel like we are sitting up here acting like Israel has some kind of responsibility to these people.
But wait a minute, they have been responsible towards them.
And that would have left.
No, I'm saying that's what they have been doing. So they want to ignore all of the gestures, the responsibility, the morality that they have been, given to the Palestinians and whomever else. But now all of a sudden they're not. They're the ones killing. No, it's twisted. It's evil. Hamas and all of these terrorists need to be wiped off the face of the earth.
I agree. Have it on video. When I'm talking about this redhead family, they had it on video where the terrorists
Yeah.
came and got them.
Yeah.
Now they have traded that family off to God knows who. And now they're trying to lie and say that Israel bombed, one of the Israeli bombs killed the family.
And it should have.
This is the hostage.
I know.
It doesn't even make sense. Not only that, but I mean, they're putting out wrong information. One of the hostages that came home was talking about how while they were in captivity, the harsh, terrible conditions, but Hamas and the Palestinians are putting out letters saying that the hostages wrote these letters. Oh, my captor was so wonderful, and
that's called the Stockholm
This doesn't even make
basically.
sense. It's
why
terrible.
hasn't Israel retaliated?
They have been. Right now, they're in this pause, or like Sunny Hostin said, this pause.
And
Pause.
Yeah, she wants to take the pause to a total stop.
Right. They want a ceasefire. They
No.
want a total ceasefire.
No.
And that's what, so they right now, while they are quote unquote exchanging hostages for prisoners that Israel has rightfully in prison, because these people were also trying to kill Israelis. So
There would be condos on the Gaza Strip. It would be some condos on that bad boy. Israel, y'all doing too much. It would be over.
But let me say this too, because one thing that we have to move on. You know, we've talked about this on the show previously, how we're seeing here in America on campuses, you know, people are doing all this anti-Semitism, and even what I would call self-hating Jews across America, across the world, you know, are coming out against, you know, for the Palestinians. And to me, it's a really sharp wake-up call for a lot of these, you know, Jews in general who vote Democrat, because we're seeing that the alignment is with the far left, the Marxists. They're all for the Hamas. They're all for Palestinians and things like that. So my question is, and then you have this newer generation of Jewish people, of leftist Jews, that are also on the side of the Palestinians, of Hamas. And I think that is a real
a wake-up call for us.
Not just a wake-up call, but it's a lack of you all continuing the tradition within the Jewish community. Mm-hmm. You have dropped the ball on many of your traditions. So instead of you passing along with the significance of your family, your heritage, your prophetic heritage, you have chosen not to do that. You've chosen to be secular, and now you've raised a whole generation of Jewish people who hate Jews.
Well, that's and
welcome to America.
We did the same thing too.
What we have
with black people,
right? We have,
but because I don't understand why black people are even supporting Palestinians. They don't like you
because they
literally. It's so stupid because like every bodega in the hood, like every store, all these is owned by people that's from overseas, and they talk to you like crap. They treat you like crap. They don't like you, and you sitting up here talking about free Palestine. And you've never even been there?
No, but I mean, again, we have to really start.
Can't even find the Gaza Strip.
Right. We have to really start, you know, people, as far as tradition, as far as raising up, you mentioned a couple episodes ago, raising up your child.
Yes.
You know, these Jewish people have a long history, you know, not only of the ethnic Jew, but of, you know, your religion. And you're not passing it along to these younger generations, and then they hate themselves.
That's what happens when they come to America, because these generations, their children become Americanized, and then they forget their culture, or they reject their culture because they want to be Americans.
Right. And it's not even about being Americans. They have rejected their religion.
I know.
Their history.
They have rejected their religion.
Plenty of this first generation Americans who are from Afghanistan, from Jamaica, from all these places that reject their culture because they want to be Americans.
And not only that, I mean, but interestingly enough, Americans have not been doing a good job of that either. So they want to be Americans, but they want to be what America is today. We're still not passing on the legacy. I think conservatives are just starting to wake up and realize that we need to get back to the traditions, the foundations of our country, because we haven't done a good job of that either. Nevertheless, Hamas, Hezbollah, I hope you get blown off the face of the earth into little small confetti pieces.
But going to
that's not
KJ's
gonna
point,
happen,
I mean, like I did hear, I've never been to Israel, but I heard them pride flags be flying real high.
Well, not only that, but you find here. I mean, again, we have seen that these Marxist, socialist, leftist groups have all aligned, or mostly aligned, behind Palestine. Now you have Orthodox Jews who are, standing firm, and that's why, why? Because they continue to pass on the tradition, the not only ethnic tradition of Judaism, but the religious tradition. And we know that religion does push back against this leftist Marxist agenda. But you have a good amount of Jews within the United States that have decided to forego their religion.
Yeah.
They are not passing it on to their young children. They are not passing it on to the next generation, and you're paying for it.
Yeah.
You're paying for it. And so, send your kids to Hebrew school, get them around, other Jews and telling them the tradition and things like that, because then maybe they won't hate themselves, and that's just my 2 cents, please correct me. If I'm wrong, but I've just seen that, and I know we haven't really said it. But.
Well, Charlie Kirk tried to say the exact same thing, and they called him anti-Semitic. So.
Oh, well, I don't know. I'm not trying to be anti-Semitic.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to correct yourself for correcting.
Right. But anyway, so
What these people say.
we'll continue to move on. We have to move on, and then talking about protecting, your sovereignty and your borders and things like that. We're moving on to the NYC illegal immigration crisis.